Ladies and gentlemen, it's time for you to take your seats. The show is about to begin.
Musical, lyrical lingo. Every episode a new bingo. Laugh and sing, go with the flow. Tune in as the memories grow.
Hello and welcome to Musical Lyrical Lingo. We're your hosts, Tim
And LJ today, and every week we will be discussing musicals, but specifically what they taught us. And this week it's not just us two, we have got two guests.
We've got friends.
Yay!
We're not on our own.
We're not on our own. We're going to be interviewing, oh my goodness, it's super exciting, more people from Northern Ireland who seem to love musical theatre.
Yeah. And not only love musical theatre, but are doing something about it.
Yes.
Something very, very exciting. Something that there's not a huge amount happens here. And that's writing their own musicals, which is very, very exciting. Yeah.
So today we have Dermot and Victoria from Belfast who have written a contemporary musical. And we are going to discuss more about this because they've had a couple of workshops in Belfast and in London. And we certainly want to know how the process has been going. So welcome, guys. Thank you for joining us on our podcast.
Are you guys not exhausted? You've had a very busy time over the last couple of weeks.
Yeah, shattered, and then we've just started back into actual work. We're both teachers, so we just started back into work yesterday.
I was just thinking coming here tonight because I'm a teacher too, and I was like, this is probably the worst week you could have got these.
There's no content, so it's fine.
It's a distraction, isn't it? When teaching's really bad, you just turn to musical theatre, right?
No other way for
That's
it.
what you have to do.
I love when I get asked, do you teach drama then? No.
Love it. So, yes, Delicate then is your musical. So it's a new workshop musical, contemporary with a unique premise. So the best way to describe it would be Grey's Anatomy meets Taylor Swift. Isn't that right?
Yeah, that's kind of the way that we've been going with it. Not our words, but sort of the words of anybody that's kind of seen it and people who kind of we talk to about it and they kind of go, well, that's a way to sum it up. But yeah, that's kind of the idea behind it, but it's an awful lot more than that.
Yeah, and I say it's not like any characters from those things.
No.
It's just using the elements from it.
Yes, this is using the high stakes elements of surgery and then
And romance and all that stuff that goes along with it.
and she's, you know, my 13-year-old daughter would definitely say she's a lyrical genius and she's just wonderful. So, I mean, Taylor Swift's songs have so much heart to them.
So much. Yeah, so that kind of she storytells, like sometimes it doesn't work at all, and that's why some certain songs aren't in it. But consider it was really hard to narrow down actually what ones to use because so many tell it so well that trying to actually pick which ones was and still is a journey. So yeah, she is a lyrical genius, 100%.
Before we get into Delegate, I want to know a bit more about you guys. So has musical theatre always been in your life? Like, were you involved in musical theatre? Like, when was the first time that you realised, oh, actually, I really like this kind of...
I could be here a while. Do you want to go first?
Yeah. I grew up with it. Like my mom introduced me to Grease and then Hairspray and then all those things. I just love watching it. Never had the talent to actually be in it. I wasn't even allowed to be in the school choir. I was that bad at singing. So I've always watched, sadly. I'm very, very good in the background. I was always like, who needs to be here? Who needs makeup? Who needs costumes? Who needs props? That was always me. So backstage, always in the black. But never got to be kind of front and center. Still not front and center. Still in the back having a great time. But yeah, I always loved them and enjoy watching them, enjoy seeing them. It's been a huge part of our relationship as well. But in terms of background, I'm a big fan. You're different.
Well, yes and no. I started into musical theatre whenever I was 11. So I like the primary school, you do shows and all the rest of it, you know, at the end, you know, Christmas time and all that stuff. And my godmother told me about a youth theatre project that was going on in the summer, just whenever I was transferring into secondary school, and it was Bugsy Malone, and it was with Youth Action Northern Ireland Rainbow Factory. I went down, I auditioned, and I got the role of Leroy, so Bugsy's friend and boxer and all that jazz. And from then I joined Rainbow Factory, and I was in there for probably about 10 years. And was doing their summer shows and different things like that, and a lot of workshops that they were starting to work on original material and their own stuff as well. And I actually got a bit of a leg up there because in 2005, myself and a couple of other guys wrote their Christmas panto. So it was based on a Christmas Carol, but we turned it into a pantomime. So obviously using music from pop culture and things like that. And then we transferred the Charles Dickens book into a panto style. And that was kind of the first time I'd ever written anything before it turned 18. And then from that, I'd sort of started to dip my toe a little bit. I auditioned for Any Dream Will Do in the BBC, which is to this.
There is video evidence.
There is video evidence, but it's minuscule. So needless to say, I'm teaching now, so it didn't pay off. And then I took a step away from it all, those who can't teach, and started teaching drama instead. And
he actually teaches drama.
And then fast forward to last year, and Victoria turned around and said, "Do you know who's never done a jukebox musical, or has anybody ever done a jukebox musical about using Taylor Swift's music?" Quick Google. Nope, nobody's done it. One guy tried it in uni in America for his final year project, and that's it. So I went, yeah, we'll figure out rights and stuff like that there, but let's just put a script together and we'll see what we're doing. That's the first time then that I've written anything I'd written, and obviously along with you, in 20 years. And it was like, I like this, see where this can go. And then we started to get people on board and people who would work with us and help us with music, because we're not musically gifted. And here we are now, talking to you guys about a show.
That's where I came in very handy. I will talk to anybody and see if I can get anyone on board. So in school, obviously there's a music department. I became really, really good friends with a music teacher, and I've now claimed her as my best friend. And she was like, I'd love to do a musical. So that is Miss Kimberly Mort. So she has been, vital in getting this kind of going as well. So
then between the three of us, we had then just kind of started to run with it. And
so we did the Scratch Night, which was like a little workshop. It's actually of Act 2 randomly, but we didn't know how we were going to do bigger numbers with a very small cast and just with the piano. So we picked that kind of section, and then it took off quite well and was good. And then did the Belfast Accidental Theatre show, and it sold out, which was really cool. And then they went to London, so that was really fun. So we sent our script out to different theatres and things like that, and then it was then them offering then to bring us over.
Oh, that's amazing. So you've mentioned it briefly there, and we mentioned before. So the first book workshop was at Accidental Theatre in Belfast on the 8th of August, and then you went to London Phoenix Art Club, is that right, on August the 13th? So that was pretty tight, close together.
Yeah, that was so. As Victoria was saying, we kind of came up with the whole we came up with the concept, and then we started putting our scenes and stuff together, and we saw there was an opportunity in Accidental in May that you could do like a Scratch Night. So basically the three of us, myself, Victoria and Kimberly, who's our MD, got together we stuck out a casting call on Instagram, and we got 4 people involved who were either from here or are based here now, and they came on to do the Scratch Night with us. We picked 3 scenes that we had written from Act 2 that were all kind of consecutive from each other, just to kind of get a bit of a flavour of what it could look like. And from that,
and we had to do that to get rights. We had to do that to get things. So we had to do like a little snippet.
To start to sort of
Kimberly, fair play to you. She had like a little portable studio to send the recordings to Universal. So we had to send that off then as well, so they knew what we were doing with the music. So that was fun as well, kind of turning our rehearsal space into a recording studio. So that was really cool. So like a little mini cast album of 3 songs.
Yeah, also very scary. Like Universal are big people to be dealing with. Like how did that feel working with those types of organizations? That's huge.
Definitely not gonna make it sound as simple, or sorry, I'm going to make it sound more simple than it is, and it is a case of email. You just, you reach out and you contact them.
It was funny that when they first got a reply, he was like, I don't want to open this. Because it was like, no, why did we do this? And I actually was like, oh, okay.
Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Hey, it's Alex Caggiatani
and Paul Richmond
from the Education News Comedy Quiz podcast called Some of the Above.
Each month, Alex and I invite you to play along with two special guest contestants from the world of education as we ask questions about the latest school news.
If you want to laugh while you learn and learn while you laugh, this is the show for you.
So listen to the Education News Comedy Quiz now, because truly, this podcast will change your life.
You'll sleep better, your food will taste better, and you'll probably get promoted at work.
So we're naive at the start because it was like you're trying to reach out to her people, and
The minute on her podcast, she hasn't opened her messages, so it's sitting there.
It's sitting there somewhere. But you're trying to reach out to her people directly in her management, and you get nowhere. And then went on a bit more of a deep dive and looked at licensing laws and how those kind of things go around, because it's written, it's all there, but obviously cannot go to stage. Emailed Universal Music Group, and basically they explained to us, first of all, emailed America, and America says, we don't deal with this, it'll be UK, because obviously of where we are. So it was like they actually forwarded it on. They didn't even say like contact them, they just passed it all, which was great. That was really good of them. And then Universal UK got back to us and said, right, let us know which songs you intend on using, how much of that song you're
Are
using.
You changing any part of it?
Changing anything. Give us all the details that you can. We realize that some of these details you might not be able to give until after you do it.
Yeah.
So go ahead, do it, get back to us, and then we'll discuss after that if there's, what licenses have to be paid, what different things need to come from that, and that's it. And it sounds
and then
scary,
and then depending on your venue as well, the licenses that they have in the venue covers you.
Yeah.
In parts anyway.
So it was quite an interesting process, because you got to kind of see how smaller things like this can sort of start out, and then you kind of can build it from there. But once you kind of open that channel of communication, then it starts to get an awful lot easier.
It starts to be a lot scarier the bigger it gets.
What was the time scale then? Was there a lot of hanging around waiting on an email to know whether it was a go, or could we do this, or was it quite quick?
We didn't have the Belfast, or it was after the scratch night. Basically, we didn't book anything or make any plans until we got back from them. We kind of was just, won't we?
But even
and then it all worked out.
Even after
it was quite quick.
Yeah, the email was about 2 weeks.
Yeah.
But 2 week turnaround with actual all that communication and stuff with them, which was quite good.
That's really good, actually. You assume if you're working with somebody high up, and I think we still see ourselves as a very small little country. If you're from here, nobody really wants to talk to you.
We're so self-deprecating. We're so like low levels of self-esteem. It's just like for anybody that has an idea or an aspiration.
Except we can't do Taylor.
Yes, we got it wrapped up now. So.
I mean, that's what I was just going to say. That's loads of hope, and hopefully that does give some of our listeners a bit of hope to be like, if you've got an idea, just go for it, because you might not wait months.
Yeah, like what's the worst? And we joked all along, and it still might happen. The worst thing's going to happen is I'm going to get a signed thing from Taylor saying stop, and I mean, I get a signed autograph from Taylor, so I mean, it's a win-win, really.
Yes, you're the Swiftie in the relationship, isn't that right, Victoria? You are the fan.
I started.
she started. We had a chat with the BBC before the accidental one, and very much it's when we got together, she introduced me to an awful lot of songs, and I went and praise, and then that was very much like okay, well yes, I like this. This is good, And then
You're 50 down.
yes, I
He
am
is
very,
literally.
very dedicated.
He actually, like, we do quizzes and stuff on YouTube to see if we can guess what song in like the first 10 seconds, and he gets the names quicker than I do
I'm
sometimes.
just good at quizzes.
Oh, there we go.
So he's all like, oh, and it's like, no, you do. But yeah, no, it does give people hope. And I say it was a case of, see it, like it was our dream, even just getting it to where we got it in London. Like that was incredible. That's as far as it goes. As far as it goes. Hopefully it's not, and we have bigger plans. But you know what I mean. That was still incredible. Like we're still in a high from it. Like you know.
And it's like what you were saying at the start. You know, our theatre scene in the North is so small, and it's so kind of parochial as well in terms of an awful lot of the stuff that we get written for stage here is very us. There's not, you know, it's things that relate to our cultural backgrounds or our history or whatever kind of comes through, and
or extreme comedy.
Yeah, and we just, which, and again, there's absolutely nothing wrong with it. That is not in any way to undermine that.
Gap.
But that was the thing. There was a gap there. Is like not many people have sort of reached out to do the commercially bigger scale stuff.
Yeah.
And because all that stuff sells out theatres, like you just look at anywhere like the Lyric or in the Opera House or anywhere in and around Belfast or even the Millennium Forum in Derry or whatever, and a lot of our local stuff just sells because people want to go, people want to support it. So we just went, right, there's a gap here in the market. Can we do something commercially bigger or hopefully bigger scale at a certain point that everybody on stage, even if they're from here, is talking in an American accent just because.
Yeah.
That was hilarious at first. We were right there. It was actually a friend of ours, Sherman, goes, "You're not singing Taylor in American or in
a Northern Irish accent."
And I went, "I never thought that actually." And then I was like, no, it's America. Yeah, it's fine. That'll do. I'm grand. That'll do. And that was it. And that was it. I never even like thought that far ahead and went, no.
With regards to the writing process, two questions, two things that are in my mind that I'm really interested to know. How long did that process of actually writing Delicate take, and what came first? Is that chicken and egg question? What had you decided on the Taylor Swift songs that you wanted and then fit the storyline around that, or had you the storyline first?
Bit of both, and also we do have like a backup of other things if Taylor doesn't, because the story doesn't have to end. There's other artists that will hopefully, but Taylor's mecca, like she's like, but there's other artists. I'll not say who they are yet. That we could choose, but it was a mix. There's one song that was in our scratch performance, which is "You're Losing Me," and part of that song, and it always sits with us. It's nearly, if you ever watched Grey's, there's a bit in Grey's where it's "Pick me, choose me, love me," and she kind of says that in the song, and it's not exactly, but it's kind of hinted at, and kind of from that we kind of went out, and that was, so certain songs kind of built it. Like we knew we were listening in the car and we were like, that's our opening number, and that was it, and things like that. But a couple of ones stood out, and then after that it was a case of whatever ones fit it with the story. So a bit of both.
We had a theme and we had a story that we wanted to tell, and there was a couple of elements of it, like the whole sort of, I'd say it's not based on Grey's Anatomy, but the reason why that became like an inspiration was, you've never seen a musical that's like a medical drama. We've had like in Waitress, sorry, you've got like the doctor is the love interest. You know,
there's a new hospital scene in Devil Wears Prada because she broke her leg.
There you go. But so like that hadn't ever really been approached before, and it was like, right, well, there's something original straight off the bat. Is
costuming's also very easy.
It is very easy, very easy. And then we had this idea of, we wanted to show a kind of a torrid love relationship.
Well, it had to be, again, go back to her songs. For the really like good storytelling, it's usually about her not having someone or wanting someone she couldn't have, or things like that. So it was like, well, okay, where do we go from here?
But we wanted to, not that it's wholly and utterly flipped, because we still like the initial idea was that we were going to do sort of a bit of a last 5 years from two people's perspectives. We would still have other characters in it.
That's why it's called Their Musical. But that is as we got more and more cast involved. People were incredible. We were like, oh, but we can
We'll have
make your
to-
role
right,
better.
right scene,
And then,
right scenes and roles here.
yeah.
But that kind of idea then, and I was going to look at from the female side of things about how to build yourself back up again, how to give yourself strength whenever you've been let down by someone in your life.
Going
where-
through grief, going through different things.
But you still need someone in your life as well, someone who can be there as a support. It's not just a I don't need a man element, but you can also do it on your own if you need to. And then from the male perspective, we looked at something then that wasn't really looked at before, which was coercive relationships, where the man is on the receiving end of an abusive home relationship. He's with someone who undermines him, who makes him feel inferior. And it's something that hasn't really been explored either. So it was trying to sort of find these different themes that you don't see commonly used. Obviously, they're talked about in different ways and different sort of things like TV and stuff. But it was just something that wasn't there in musical. So there's a weightiness to it. And then we also have thrown in a drag queen.
Just
lighten everything up.
Back to the hers and his thing. It was it's the story of our thing. It's the head and the heart. So that's the whole idea of like she the female character technically does everything, follows her heart, just follows what she wants to do. And with the male character, it's very much everything to do with the head and how they go about things, having a focus on that, and then how that kind of changes. And again, you've got a heart surgeon and a brain surgeon, because why not? And it just kind of ties that together. But it is that whole idea of what, when you're dealing with something that might be questionable, do you follow your head or do you follow your heart? But yes, and randomly, you had to have a good patient. Just made sense. And I really, really love drag, and just was like,
No wrong with a drag queen.
Yep.
Absolutely.
It's a shame a scene later to die. I hope you come back in Act 2, like as a ghost or something for a second.
That's the plan. But yeah, no, I know. It was trying to find a character that people would click with quite quickly, and like that's the thing. That's the thing about Grey's, and again, not taking from them, but the idea that those really big episodes that really hit, or like when you connect with a patient and then they go. Do you know what I mean? So we had to try and like be like, why not?
Yeah.
So like, and again, that's an interesting way to be like, happy days. You can connect with this character, and then like it just happened. Remember when we had our the accidental one? We heard a gasp when that happened, and
you did a good job, because when I was watching, I heard the gasp too, and I went, "Oh, they got the feels there. They got the feels."
It happened in London again as well. So we've hit it twice.
Yeah.
And
It's so funny as well. Owen like comes off the stage and he was like, "They love me! They love me!" So it was really funny from his perspective as well. He was just like, "They love me!" So that's good.
But I know that was something that came back from. So we've had a couple of reviews and stuff from London, which again, it's nice to kind of get that, because then we can use it for our next phases and stuff. And that was one thing that came back, was about the kind of the quickness of that. Our big thing with it, and this was an unfortunate thing about doing that.
There was other scenes written, but in London we only were allowed like an hour slot.
So we had to cut an awful, again, and the reason why then Accidental's in the same length is because we obviously had to do one, do the other. We didn't want to start cutting things from one scene. So it's like we had to go back, take that bit out. At least it kind of makes sort of cohesive sense.
But it's there in the big story.
There, so it's like,
but it's there. And then, well, I've kind of said this before, but so the endings are kind of what we're really excited about. So I've always thought of this idea, and I'm still writing one of them, is having different endings, alternative endings.
Yeah.
So that's a big thing. So again, I can't decide how I want it to end, so I'm just going to write 3 different endings and see what happens. And then it means you get more songs. It's great. And the actors are all that. They're like, this is great, something different, and something to keep them excited about it. So, and they're all excited about what their ending would be, or like what they would want it to. So that's been kind of fun as well.
Well, you sort of mentioned it there, and this is something I was intrigued by. So workshops, and the people who aren't involved in musical theatre, or even like drum processes or anything like that, don't realise that it takes an awful lot of work to go from idea to full-blown production. So you had your 2 workshops. What were the goals? And then what do you think you've learned from being post the workshops now?
Well, I remember our production manager, Tanya, Tanya DeBur, she's helping us out, but she was like, "You're not just standing on music stands, you're doing costumes, you're doing this. It's a work." And we're like, "Yeah, it's live. Why not?" So that was the first kind of adoption. Was like, "Oh, okay." I'll let you take the rest of it, but that was just always a laugh.
So one of our dogs is deciding to squeak. No, what we wanted to take from it was we wanted to see if the production could have legs, if it had an opportunity to be able to grow into something. We had this idea. The idea sounded great in our heads. It looked good on paper, and we were happy with it. Can we get a group of people together to put this on the stage to see if it actually connects, to see if it actually there's something there in it? And that was the main goal of it. Knowing that we could do it within the confines of licensing, knowing that we could do it on a small scale to start off with, to kind of.
But we also tried to do a big stage production on a small stage, and get people to see what could happen if we could get it in a bigger space, and if we could kind of get that moving. And
then from doing the 2 workshops, we learned that yes, that is a potential. There's a possibility for it there. We've had, from the reviews and stuff that we got from it.
Yeah, all the reviews were, of course, obviously it's a workshop. There's going to be things to fix, but all of them were very much like, it's a start of something, and
there was a lot of encouragement from things that were written, and it was a case of keep an eye out for it. And that was what we wanted. We wanted to know, showing Act 1, that we could get somewhere. And we have kind of learned from that we can. We need to tweak an awful lot of things of what we want to do in terms of adding in those extra scenes that we had, what we're going to do about an ending.
But no, in terms of the goals, like our goals were to make it as full-scale production as we possibly could. Yeah. We were a little bit shy of it in London because we even were going to add a bit of like digital, like oh my gosh, why can't I think of the word?
The Phoenix Arts Club have like a digital screen, and we had planned on.
And we have the visuals and things like that as well, but we ran out of tech time and couldn't get that done. So again, in terms of making goals, like not everything came to fruition, but again, that's why we had full costumes, props, but props were hilarious because we had an IV stand as a mic stand, and we had a mic stand as an IV bag. We had like these foot tree things as CPR. And then the realization, because doing the surgery scene as well, that you pointed out, was the fact that you can't actually, I was ordering like scalpels and all, and it was like, we can't do that. You can't actually have sharp objects on a stage.
Health and safety on
stage. So it's butter knives and tweezers, but you do what you do. And it's funny, so it was trying to make it as full production as we possibly could. And that's with the music. And again, we would have loved a full band, but fair play to Kimberly, like she does make that piano, play drums, and play disco beats somehow. I didn't know doing DJ in school would let you do that, but then so like how she changes up Mirrorball song, it kills me every time. It's just like it turns it into a club with the piano. So I mean, incredible, but again, would love to have more sound and things like that as well. So in terms of the goals, it's kind of how far could we have gone, and I'd say on a whole, we got 95% of it where we wanted it to be.
Yeah. And the feedback's been helpful.
100%.
Absolutely, yeah. And like we asked the audience in Accidental, especially because we had the time, to give us feedback. We set up a QR code with a feedback form for comments, things like that they liked, obviously, which is good, so that we know what we can maintain, and then things that they thought might need tweaked, or that they didn't fully understand, or something that where there's gaps, and we've been able to take that. Today was the first day because I had a little bit of free time. So I started looking over the script again.
Don't save the free time.
Why have you got free time this week?
It was called lunch. And so basically then started to have a look over some of the scenes and stuff, and sort of filling in little gaps.
Same thing with the reviewers, and there's some things that the reviewers were saying that we've answered in Act 2, or that we've maybe cut already, and we're like, oh right, so we do need that in there, or things like that. There was the odd thing that was like, oh, that's actually really helpful as well, that we hadn't thought about, but it was really reassuring when we read the reviews as well, to be like, oh, those questions that are being asked, we have answered those. In our own head, like people didn't see it, but like obviously what we already written, it was like, that's okay. So that's, and again, so I didn't mention obviously with putting the production on as well, like the choreography, the girls did so good. Yeah, so but part of that within, because of how you need dance numbers in a musical, like while we were trying to set up this production,
we're very fortunate, and we can get chatting on to that in a bit about the cast and stuff that we had. But the two people that we had in for as our choreographers had literally just finished their musical theatre course over in London. They chose they're both from Ireland, but they chose us over their final course piece. They saw it as an opportunity for themselves, obviously, to kind of put themselves into the sort of the professional sphere. As professionals, we were paid by profits workshop, but it gave them an opportunity to be choreographers as well as a part of it. And so they had to go through an assessment while they were with us. We had to assess them. Lucky we're teachers. And so they had to go through all that process, but they turned out really, really, really good numbers.
All very different.
And it was great to kind of have that, because I'm not a mover.
I did dance a long time ago, but again, not very well.
So it was good to kind of have that.
You might not be a mover, but you're a singer, because you have words in the Phoenix Theatre yourself. How did that happen? How did you? I don't know if you did it. I'd have been booking in a bucket.
That was an 11th hour thing. Yeah. So unfortunately, the person who we had cast within the role of Sean, just the circumstances beyond his control, he couldn't do it anymore, and he, very professionally contacted us on the Tuesday and said, "Look, I'm really sorry," but so on and so forth, that he wasn't going to be able to fulfill either of the dates because of circumstances. And we sat there for a minute and went, right, we have prepared for this, because and it was a case of, because
it was so funny. It took me a night of talking to the girls, so Kimberly and Tanya, to be like, my husband has to kiss someone else.
Funny, I said that to Lauren. I was like, very brave to be doing that bit.
I had to direct. I the delicate scene. I had to direct it. It's this is so hilarious. And then there keeps being, there's a line in it does the girl at home touch you like I do? And every single time I was like, I do. So that was funny.
Tell her I do.
It was funny as well. There was in the scratch performance that we did, the girl who played Paige is an old friend of mine from Rainbow Factory. Now, she got cast. I hadn't spoken to her probably in about 15 years.
Yeah.
So it's we would put her through the proper channels and all to cast her. And then she couldn't do this run because she's expecting, and she's very close. I think she could go any day in a minute. But she came to see us last week in Phoenix, and we had this little moment of just this is really weird that after about 15 years, I'm watching you on stage again. I was like, I know it's very, very surreal, but it was good. It was fun, and it was enjoyable.
Everyone's joked as well. He really wanted to do the London date, so we also wonder, what he put to play to make that happen.
I'd like to go on record as saying that there was no foul play.
This was the big plan.
It was a thing of we've written, we've put it together. You're not going to go to another actor in the space of 3 days and go, here's 39 pages of script. Can you learn this? And the
best part was one of the bits he really couldn't stand and couldn't learn. He was like, "Who wrote this?" I was like, "You did."
It was good. It was good. It was good sense of self-evaluation, because I was like, I really hate how this is written. So
it's probably really good actually for you to be there on the night, not as a writer, as a performer, to then see where does it flow for that character. Yeah. So it will only help enhance the writing process as it goes on.
Definitely, because even going back over looking at it again, because today was the first day that I'd had a look at it since.
Lucky for you, I'm busy teacher.
I know. Well, it was the first time that I've had a look at it since, and I went going over it in my head. Then I've obviously seen how the performance was going. Yeah, that is a gap. That's a gap. That's a gap. And it was
I got this in the phone call or the drive away home. By the way, and then I was like, "No, you're not changing that. I have a different idea for that."
Is 95% of your time together just talking about your musical?
We went to Florida. I know we went to Florida, and it was really funny. That was where we went before the show stuff kicked off in the beginning of summer, and it was thank God there's so much to do in Florida. You're walking around the park and we went, oh, here, we're going back into the musical. And then it was on the flight back. It was like, right, crap. What are we doing?
We had like paper copies of the script and we were looking through.
Playing away with it. Like the cast already had it and stuff before then. Like that was fine and stuff like that. But it was like, and randomly, do you remember I ordered like a lot of the costumes sitting in Finding Nemo? We were to come on. We wanted like the AC for a bit, and we were really, really early to a show. And I was like, we need to order these costumes.
Brilliant.
Sitting in a pre-performance about 20 minutes, and she's just flicking through various websites, going, I can order this and this and this and this. Right, because that's the thing.
All the best places to get inspiration for theatre done well, Disney. So
it was true. I don't know why at one point sitting there I went, Scrubs. But yeah, no, it was funny. But no, we do talk about it a lot. But it is fun. And then there's different times we'll randomly just be in the car or whatever. Like I remember I rang you whenever I thought about the Mirabelle thing, and I was like, and then we come home and just write. But I remember like I just sat one evening, wrote things, and then sent it to you, and then it was just that's been a lot of it as well. We like write sections and then send it to each other, and then we kind of see where it fits in, and like we're like nearly
edited on each other's behalf, and then we'll send it back over. And it's not even like we don't even designate. Like you do scenes 1 to 5, I'll do this. It's just I've got an idea for this. Will this fit in? And that kind of comes back to your question before about like what came first. Like we would have selected songs, and we had a bank of songs, and then we would have went, no, that one doesn't work because that's not telling that part of the story.
I'm so sad. I really wanted Mastermind in it. That was my official ending, and it doesn't work anymore. And I clinged on to it till I literally, and you were like, no, and literally took it out of my invisible, like literally like, no. So yeah, that's been a part of it as well, where you wanted things to work and they just don't work as well. So yeah,
and you have to let go and understand it's for the greater good, but it's just still a little bit hard.
There was a couple of songs that were cut from Act 1, and I wasn't happit's because it was like, well, it's a lovely song, and I have to go and
he wanted Enchanted.
It's a great song.
I wanted it gone from the beginning, so that's also part of it as well. And then Guilty as Sin, he was trying to get rid of it the whole time, and then Tanya, me and Kimberly all loved it, so it was like no, but we basically had to cut it like tiny, so it was like only like a quarter of the song, and then he was happy.
So would you say that's been one of the hardest parts of the process then, like having to let go of those songs that mean a lot to you?
I think that's
also being frustrated by songs you thought you loved.
Yeah. Yeah, that's it.
We had a moment where Haunted just wasn't going to be. It was going to be what we wanted it to be, and I could listen to it for a week. I was like, nope, I'm triggered.
Again, we're very, including in the two of us as well, but we're very thankful for Kimberly, our MD as well, because there was not a lot, but like there was a good bit of rewriting that went on to kind of make things suit. In the likes of Delicate and of
Drowning in These Blue Files.
Yeah, just clever little tweaks that she decided to throw in, but it made it work. Then it helped to kind of carry the narrative of that song.
So we had a couple of times just with her to kind of be like, right, this is what the story's doing. This is what the song is saying. Can we change some of this? And we all work together then to rewrite it.
It was 4 hours in her house one afternoon. Sit with the piano and going, right, this, let's change this, let's change that.
Yeah, we know we meant to be 4 hours. It was 8.
Oh, that was ages. It was so long.
But yeah, no, that would probably be the hardest part. That, and then developing certain characters or realizing you haven't got enough time, because I'm obsessed with writing essays upon essays upon essays, and then I keep getting reminded it's not a TV show, it's a musical. So not being able to develop characters how I'd like to as well has been a bit of like, how do you do that in such a short period of time?
It's trying to find quick development, and sometimes that doesn't come until you've got the actors on stage and you're trying to put the chemistry together to kind of see how they can move it along quickly. We're very grateful for having Kira, who played Paige, who was great at just being able to kind of carry that character forward really quickly, because it is quite a prompt thing for
and adapt to different actors
as well. But it's very, very difficult to kind of get two people together, throw them together straight away, and be like, oh, this makes sense that you two should be in a relationship. It is about the actor kind of trying to bring that forward in a kind of a genuine way. She did that brilliantly. She did it really, really well. And Catherine beforehand, whenever we were trying to figure all that out, because we in the scratch night, whenever we were trying to establish a relationship between those two in Act 2, with no context, to be able to go, right, the two of you are in a relationship and it's volatile, shows that, and it kind of came through. So we've been very fortunate to work with some really, really good actors.
And the unfortunately. So Laura, who plays Ellen,
Yeah.
I mean, that character was meant to be just in and out, and that was
Yeah.
done, and she is just sensational.
The whole wife, Sean's wife character was just like a thought. This was the whole last 5 years, just two people perspective thing. And
After the scratch night,
we did
we
that
started
in
writing
one
her whole
sitting.
story.
Yeah, because the audience received her. They thought she was great, so sassy, and we just went, yeah. And the funny thing about it was she auditioned for the little page, and then we put her in as Ellen. And then whenever it came around to the next time of casting, we were like, do you want to audition for Paige? We were like, nope, this is my role. I'm playing Ellen. I was like, we're okay. Right. She just wanted it. She just ran
That
with
was it. That's her. She's happy. And she's actually a true American, so that was hilarious.
She is
for me
our
as well.
she is our only literal American.
Oh, very good.
That was really funny as well, because the cast had to try obviously doing the American accent. It was like, but there was actually times where she became more Northern Irish than anyone doing the American accent.
That's so nice to hear how the actors have helped your process. You know, we talked to a lovely lady called Nico, who's written her musical called Millennials Are Killing Musicals. If you haven't listened to it, definitely do. And just saying that in her workshops, it was the actors that really sort of were able to say, well, this works better. And, you know, so definitely you're going to go far with having the respect of a whole creative team there. It's nice to hear.
Completely. And
I think we got a lot of feedback as well about collaboration and stuff, because it was a case of it's new work and we really wanted people's opinion. We actually had a meeting recently about people were giving feedback out the whole time, and we had a meeting about that after, you know, some things that couldn't change at this stage. It was things to do in the future. But I mean, we were very lucky with who we had. And it was, you know, for people who are fresh out and who are quite green, to people who have been doing this for years, you know, it was a lovely mix, and it was people were all getting different things from it. And it was hearing people's stories of being like, I've been treading the boards for ages and I haven't got a chance to be on stage properly. Like, thank you for this chance. And then, you know, people who were taking on other roles as well. We had people helping out with costumes and props at the back as well. And they you know, people were fantastic. Like, they just were.
It's the big thing with this project is it's self-funded. It's independent. It's self-produced. You know, we have
hopefully not forever.
And hopefully not forever. But like, you know, we've put basically it's all our own money into it. We've got a little bit of fundraising after the accidental night on the 8th. Did a raffle. We've got a GoFundMe. We had about £500 in it. You know, everything else then is just from us, and yeah, and now just the selling of the tickets in Accidental and Phoenix, just to try and make some of the stuff back up again. But we also want to give, and we will be giving money, you know, back to actors and stuff like that as well. So it'll be going back into the show.
They were joking about it like not being a lot, but it's unfortunately musicals don't come growing trees. But
and that has to shine through.
And we've been watching Smash throughout this process as well. I keep rewatching it because if you've seen it, like, we love it. It's great. It's a great TV show. And whenever they're going through their bombshell workshop, and Eileen's talking about 200,000 for a 2-week workshop, and we're going, we don't have that at all. But it's like, I can see where loads of money just goes.
What's been your favourite part of this whole process, then?
Meeting everybody, no, like seeing it all. Like, I said it, and I'm sure you've seen it in that simple like clip, although I didn't want to do that speech at the beginning, but let's not talk about that. But I was really, really lucky. I say, before we literally did a run through of the show, and literally it was just me sitting there watching it all, picking up a few notes before they like, and I literally got a one-woman show, and it was sensational. Like, just getting to see it, and like what I've never written anything before, so getting to see like something that I've written, like, and then seeing it actually be done. And I say, they are so talented. Like, again, slight envy because I have no talent. But in the ability to be able to like perform that, and it was even just the learning of the lines and everything, especially for you, because you were getting drilled by one of the cast members who was staying here, being like, "You're gonna get this." But it was just seeing like the talent and seeing it all come to life, like it was, and how everyone pulls together for a show and just kind of, you know, works together and gets it on there. But I've always wanted more musical theatre friends, and I say, although they are cast, some of them have become friends over the time, and it's been lovely to have that little joy spark. That's mine anyway.
Well, I think for me, it is kind of hard to pin it down. Like, similarly to yourself, just about kind of building up this connection and this relationship with people. But I think my favorite thing probably be the fact that it got there. It got made. There's a product that, as you say, whether this is, well, we don't intend on it being, but we'll see what way obviously things turn out. Our intention is obviously to carry it on further.
People need to know what happens.
And we do have plans, but it's a thing of there's something there. There's a poster sitting in the hallway that something that the two of us did made it to stage. It made the stage in Belfast, where we're from, stage in London, and that's a huge, because not an awful lot of people will get that opportunity. So the fact that we were able to have that opportunity.
So many things that we love. Well, personally, I loved what we loved. I mean, it was medical drama, it was Taylor, it was drag. I was just like, it was physically fitting everything I love and like shoving it in my face. It was great.
Definitely the end product's definitely my kind of favorite part of it all, to see it all together. It's been great.
And do you know the next steps? Do you know what's coming next for you guys and for the musical, or do you need a bit of time to work out what's coming next?
Yeah, so obviously at the minute we're doing like a lot of, like I say, fixing and tightening up of Act 1, or adding in bits back into it that we're taking out. Going to do a bit more fundraising just to kind of get to be able to fund a fuller show, and to try and, because one feedback as well was that the dance numbers things were great and everything's great, but it does need a bigger stage. You know, it can be a bit overwhelming, especially because you're that close to what's happening. So just to try and get a bit of fundraising. So I don't know if you want to mention what we're doing.
It's not booked yet, so I don't know that we can fully disclose. We have. We very much know plans, and
musical people need to know.
We'll put it in as a reunion. Yeah. There's a reunion element that's going to be coming prior to Christmas. And then the intention then would be, yes, we're going to go in, we're going to work, obviously literally work in school, but also we're going to spend some time on the script. It's there, as in the story outline is there, the vast majority of the scenes are written. It's now about going back and going, right, what needs to be moved out, what needs to be moved around, what needs to be put into it. But then with a view to probably going back into doing a full production workshop in the new year. Accidental
big goal to go to Edinburgh Fringe as well.
Yes, that's probably an intention for next year. Accidental have been amazing, and we are likely to go back and partner up with them again for doing the next kind of round of things. But we'll also see kind of if there are bigger spaces and things like that.
I think we'd still do it.
Well, we'll still do it accidental anyway,
just because they've been so good.
Yeah, like I can't fault them enough. They're fantastic.
Can't fault them enough.
Sorry, I can't.
At all.
For accident.
I can't fault them. They are a great group of people to work with. A great theatre for people who are up and coming or small projects and things like that. They're brilliant. They're so good. Very attentive.
I think that other show, Rose and Bud, started there too. Like, so they're really jumping off point as well.
They are brilliant.
Like they are. You could see how things can thrive there, and it's great. And I say that they treat our cast and everyone really well, and it is always lovely to be there. So yeah, just that's kind of
so exciting
to see. But say yes, keep on writing and then getting the cast back together.
Well, we'll keep sharing on our socials. We'll keep letting all the local people know and the ones that listen to us from afar. But for those people that maybe don't currently follow you, where can they find you? Where can they find more information about you?
We are primarily on Instagram at Delicate Musical. Also on TikTok at Delicate Musical. And there's a Facebook attached into that as well. If you search us, you can search us through Google and stuff like that anyway, and you'll see the reviews and stuff come up. And then any
our link tree as well.
Oh yeah, we have a link tree there that's kind of set for the YouTube of the Scratch Night. We are waiting to see. We're still to get the recordings through from Accidental.
But we are going to put a link on that so people want to buy it independently and see the other things. Obviously, some people might not have got to see it or know about it, so that'll be there as well. To kind of that'll be part of fundraising as well. But
and we're also shifting merchandise as well.
Yeah,
T-shirts, love them. Yeah.
We also have we also have a Pride edition of the T-shirt as well, because obviously we're
nice
advocates of LGBTQIA plus movements as well. So that's there.
Good stuff. Well, one final question for you, because in our podcast, it's all about what musicals have taught us. So, our last question to you is, what have musicals taught you?
That's so deep. It's a great question. It's so deep. What have musicals taught me? Musicals have taught me that, much in the same way that books can do, you can escape to wherever for the sake of 2.5 hours. You can find
Quoting the guy from Prom.
Shush. You have a place to go to be able to escape from everything that kind of is going on in your life. You can go and you can sit in a theater, you can enjoy whatever, you can laugh, you can cry, you can just embrace the fact that there are talented people in front of you who are expressing their talent in possibly one of the best forms that's out there, and we all get the privilege of being able to bask in that.
Love it.
What about you, Victoria?
For me, it's as I kind of said before. For me, it's the community of it. There's no people like theatre people, and there just isn't. And I think it's just that. And it's when you get a Broadway rave, or you get to all go see a show together, or you're in a show, or even in the background, because that's where I normally am. Everyone feels part of it. So and it is just what that brings. And I say whether it is because you're watching something, because even when you're watching certain shows, like, you are engulfed in it, you are included in it, and also why we try to in our show bring a bit of immersive stuff into it as well. But it is just that community of it, and just but it is the joy it brings. Even if it is a miserable musical, somehow you're still smiling. I don't know how that happens, but yeah, it is just the joy of it, and then the community of it for me.
Guys, thank you so much for your time tonight, especially this week of all weeks.
I know, we really appreciate it.
I hope that we'll hear your answer to that question if we go back and listen to like your first episode. Is it?
What was that?
Have you exposed why you your answer to that question in your podcast?
We talk about it on a weekly, to be quite honest with you, because on the musical we're talking about, we learn something completely. Listen, we're musical geeks, like we really are. I think both of what you've said. It is the community about it, and the escapism of it. You can be in the pits of despair, go and see a musical, and actually you feel much better for 2.5 hours.
Or it lets you help it out, or gets get it out of you, and then you feel
absolutely. And the community, and like you said, we've known each other since we were 4 because of musical theatre, and we're still together, but only like a few years later, because we're still very young. And it's just nice to know that friendships, community, and that escapism. So it's
favorite musicals before you wrap up.
Favorite musicals? Well, we're supposed to be asking the questions. What's your favorite musical, Dermot?
Mine's Hamilton. My dog is named after the same. It took over. I was away from it for a good number of years, and it wasn't obviously I'd liked things previously. But just seeing that was just an experience.
Yeah, you love it.
It's just an experience. If there's one thing I could know off by heart from start to finish, it would be that. I could do a one-man show of it. I just love it so much. I'm not going to.
Any musical, he'll be there. He'll tell you everything about them. Mine changes all the time, but I think my consistent up top one's Heller's. I just love it. I don't even know why. I just do. Whenever we saw it, I saw it for the first time ever in Grand Opera House, and I literally was like, "Where has this been all my life?"
There's a musical for every feeling, emotion, and period of your life. So that's why it's just the best form.
I find that question very difficult to answer. I don't really know what my favorite musical is, but I am a golden oldie. I think my top 5 are all back in the day, 42nd Street, Guys and Dolls, Oklahomas. I love all that kind of jazz. Chicago as well. That's good.
Yeah, so you could just keep rhyming off.
Yeah. No, and obviously, let us know what our musical inspires in you at some point.
Thank you so much.
Thank all the best for whatever their musical.
Bye.
Well done, guys.
Tune in as the memories grow.